Time to get funked up, baby, in TP Corleone's Funk Zone. Funky music, entertainment, media, and more. But all things are funky. Can you dig it now?
What's good? What's good, party people? What it do, baby Bubba, to the boogie, the bang bang. Once again, you in TP Corleone's Funk Zone with me, yours truly, TP Corleone from my town, Chi-Town, not Chirac. I said Chi-Town. Can you dig that? We're going to talk about that too. Well, right now, speaking of my town, I have a young lady, a great guest here, which I'm very privileged to have her on here. I noticed seeing her social media activity that she is very strong in representing like the positive attributes of this city, especially the musical industry, from whether it's blues, R&B, even house. You know what I'm saying? She represents us well. She's an author, well, a publisher, magazine publisher. She's a filmographer, videographer, and so on and so on. Almost, I'll say Oprah, the next Oprah in the making. She might not be Oprah yet, but you know, all of them has Oprah award. You know what I'm saying? Host of her own YouTube channel, all that. Miss QNef Smothers, thanks for joining the Funk Zone once again, Miss Smothers. Well, not once again, but thanks for joining the Funk Zone with your boy. CP, how you doing?
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. You know, I saw you on social media. I was watching your moves with TP Corleone's and Funk Zone, and you came into my group, Just Chill Neo Soul, for a little bit, and I saw you posting and the things that you're doing. So it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, that's so cool. Thanks so much. You know, social media is can be very great. It kind of can be full of BS too, but if you use it the right way, you know, it can work for you. You know, speaking of that, real quick, before we get deep into this, I want you to press the like button on this video, like it, because I know you're going to love the content, and subscribe to the channel, because there will be more great content coming, and subscribe to her channel too. Tell us about your YouTube channel and YouTube shows.
Okay, well, I've got Ari'ze Women Network, which is spelled a little different, ARI''Z as in zebra E, but it is the word arise. I derived it from Maya Angelou's And Still Like Dust I Rise. She has a poem about arising. You may write me down in your history books with your bitter, twisted lies, but still like dust I rise. So I latched onto that, and I'm like, we need this. It's, you know, as women and as Black men, Black women in this world, we have so much that kind of shuts us down at times, you know, and the things that goes on in the world, but we still rise. If you notice, in, you know, throughout our past history, we've still risen. So basically, Ari'ze Women Network is my YouTube channel. And I developed it while I came into YouTube about 9 years ago, and I started building a library of my favorite videos, conscious videos, videos that were inspiring, encouraging, and I built upon that. And then I decided it was Ari'ze Woman, and I said, I'm going to make it a network. And from there, I built a website, which is on Wix.com. We have our own app, Ari'ze Women Network, where there's products, shea butter that I developed that I sell there. But basically, it's a video catalog, kind of like a little Netflix type of Amazon thing, you know.
So what's the network? That's deeper than I thought. I'm not going to let something you said go past under the radar. You said you made some shea and market and sell shea butter on your
I sell shea butter. QNef, my own line of body butter. I know. I'm like the Jamaican that takes off the hat.
Go with your
I remember in what was that where they take the hats off and they change and they do something,
A
every
living
other
color,
year.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I do different things, and I guess I get bored easily. And if something's not working, I try something else. I had a few years ago, I had a like some kind of a sore on my neck, and it really kind of got bad, and I started using different products, and I decided to mix, shea butter and I won't name the other ingredients because I'll give it away, but
Mhm.
it made me heal. I
Really?
started sharing it with my family members. Yes, and they was like, you know what? You got some
Okay.
really good what you got. And I think my own shea butter. And my sister said, why don't you use your name? Your name is kind of catchy. So it's Queen F's body butter, Queen F's shea butter. And holidays around the wintertime months is really when it spikes because people
All
like to,
right.
that it kind of it offers that warmth and to you, to your body, and it actually softens your body and actually heals also minor cuts and burns. So
You
yeah.
got a customer. I'm glad you brought that up because wintertime, yeah, I do feel it on wintertime, my legs actually. So that's
Yeah.
some Madam CJ Walker type shit right there, huh? You know what I'm saying? Okay now.
I know. I'm
Okay.
gonna do. That's another story that I'm gonna do. I'm into documentary now, and what I want to do is a documentary about Annie Malone, who worked with Madam C.J. Walker.
Really?
He actually, and which is so amazing. That's why I said Chicago is so many great things in Chicago. Annie Malone began her work with the hair products in Chicago. She
Really?
had a house on the south side of Chicago. I'm telling you, TP, when I started studying her, and I looked at the Crusader newspaper, they had a big write up on her, and I used to walk past her house, going to school every day, going to Diet Middle School.
Are you
She had a
serious?
house right on 49th and King Drive. Yep.
Really?
Annie Malone, who really is kind of it's a rumor that she really developed the hair products before. She's in the movie with um it's
She was the
called
light
Madam,
skinned character in the
the
movie.
one that just came out about Madam C.J.
Yeah,
Walker.
yeah. Was she the
Yeah,
light skinned lady?
she's the light skinned one.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. She and so man, there's so many inspirations in Chicago. Yes, I know people that actually lived in Chicago and developed their products. Annie Malone had different beauty buildings in Chicago where she trained the young girls how to use the
Really?
hair products. And then Madam C.J. Walker, that's when she started using, putting together her products. And so wow, I want to do a documentary on her, Annie Malone, but yeah, we have some gems in Chicago.
You just blew my mind.
Man,
Seriously,
I'm
you blew my
telling you.
mind, because I'm somewhat, not deeply, but I'm somewhat of a Chicago historian. I'm a history buff, actually, but I didn't know that. I'm always learning new things about who came. One thing about this city, and I think it has something to do with why so many successes come from this city,
Mhm.
is that this was a city that was born off trade. Dig what I'm saying? When Dusabo um, founded this city, he really
Right.
just settled here because the location was a prime location for the travelers who would stop by on their way to like the East Coast or the West Coast. He was the West Coast. He was just selling fur. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah?
He was selling his fur and so forth. So he
Mm.
was here mainly because he was hustling, trying to get paid. You did what I'm saying? And many
Okay.
people, many people have came to this. I ain't trying to preach, but I'm going to preach anyway. But
That's
many
okay.
people, there you go, who have made their greatness or made their name,
Uh-huh.
did it here. They may have been from elsewhere.
Right.
Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
Oprah Winfrey, you
Oprah.
dig?
Yes.
Going even if you want to talk about the criminals, the gangsters, Al Capone, he was from New York. But everybody that
Oh.
came, he was from New York. He was hired out to come over here to, help set up shop and I think to take somebody out too. That's a whole other story. But many people who made their name here
Mhm.
came here for that reason because this was a hustler's town and town of ambition. You know what I'm saying?
Ambition.
So, and then
Yeah.
you go with another story to confirm
Kind
that.
of like New York, New York and Chicago hustlers.
Yes.
Those old pictures that if you notice, you look back on in the day and you see the men in suits and the kids in suits and dresses, and those were the Harlem days when they were doing very well.
Yeah.
During the jazz time, after the 1920s, there was an influx of money that came into the different communities because of the war. Unfortunately, the war actually made people rich and so and wealthy, and it came down to Harlem, it came down to Chicago, and the money filtrated through the different communities. That's why when people see those old pictures, it's like, well, Black people really did good back then. Yeah, there was an influx of money coming in, and people were building, starting their own products and businesses like Madam C.J. Walker. So, like I said, like you said, there's success, in Chicago, which is why I wanted to do the Chicago success, because we hear so much negativity about Chicago. But
yeah, yes, you do. Yes, you do. As a matter of fact, in the news, they're always talking about, the violence here and so forth. And it's amazing because the violence in Chicago is reported on the national and worldwide level. So one day I was just curious so is Chicago really the most dangerous and murderous town in the world, or at least in the nation? So I looked it up. We're not even in the top 25. You dig what I'm saying? In America, but you would believe we are based on news reports. You know what I mean?
News.
We believe that.
Got to be really careful about the news. I was just speaking to a young man about this. I was like, because he was like, yeah, I heard about what's going on up there. Because, I'm kind of close to Minnesota. He's like, so I said, you got to news will glorify, and they will, they'll kind of just like make things worse than what they are. For instance, we know there's racism, this and that, but they kind of blow it up. Because when I walk outside my door, I don't see all of that.
Okay.
We have, of course, racist people, but for the most part, most people are really cool. They, how you doing? You speak to them or whatever. So it's like the news. I think there's a battle of trying to separate the masses of people, because once the people are united, then they can do a lot. There is an agenda to separate the people through racism, like compile, just like blowing it out of proportion when it's not as bad, and then we're fighting each other, not realizing it's all part of the agenda.
Amen, sister. You said it. Sometimes I see it too. Sometimes I'll be scared to mention it. People think you're crazy, but it's amazing because, like, I have friends and associates from all walks of life. Different nationalities. Different sexual preferences, you dig, all that. But when I'm watching the news, after I'm finished watching the news story, I'm almost looking at them rolling my eyes, and that never did anything to me, because they put
you're kind of on edge, right?
Right, they put that seed of disunity and distrust in my head from there. How they, like you said, they over exaggerate our differences and make us hate each other, but we ain't on that though. We're not on that right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right, because if the people are not united, then they can't do much. Just like back in the Parliament days, I see you into the funk and stuff. Look at the bands. Look how the bands were. The bands were black, white, Mexican, different nationality, and they all went in the same room and recorded and made wonderful music. And then people started being together. And I don't think the people with their agenda like that. And
they don't
like that. Broken up, it got broken up.
Interesting. I'm glad a person like you, but I'm glad a person that sees that like you are in media doing your thing, because that side needs to be shown as well, that we can still be one. You know what I'm saying?
We can still be one. Yeah, sure, we have our racist people, whatever, but for the most part, if we could see through people and see the pain that they're going through or how they were raised. Some people, haters are taught lesson. Haters are taught. Kids don't grow up hating, they're taught. So, that's kind of like, where I'm at now. I'm learning that it's amazing. The older you get, the more you learn. But then with social media and with YouTube videos, you get to see and learn. It's kind of like you going back to school. You're learning more about people and agendas and the different societies
Yeah.
and the elite and how they want to hold on to their title, and they want a big pool of the minority, the poor people down here, and only 10 or 1% up here.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yeah.
it's
Trying
just
to.
wow.
I think we've been trying to widen that gap even more, it appears, what I'm saying, by making us this unified. But it's okay. We ain't with that. No, we ain't with that, though.
Right, right.
So also, I want to talk about how, so we talked about how you represent, how we have represented Chicago, we like what we have to offer. So I know you're working on a documentary. And that's how I became aware, because I saw you promoting the documentary that's coming up about the blues. So how did you come about doing that? You know what I'm saying, as far as wanting to do it in the first place?
Well, actually, I developed it thinking about the successful people in Chicago. A lot of people see, when I had the newspaper, I was publisher of the African American Woman newspaper on the south side of Chicago, which was an offspring from the African American Reader newspaper.
Really?
Yes, the owner, Sam Henderson, he was my mentor. And I worked in his office right on 79th and Cottage Grove. And yeah, I would come in there, help him with because he had a mailroom. And he had a speech impediment, so he couldn't really speak to people. He had a stutter. So I was kind of like his mouthpiece. I would help him, to get the mailbox, and a lot of businesses would come and open up their mailbox service. And then he had the African American Reader newspaper, and he was like, I'm going to close this paper down. I like to start a women's newspaper. That's where the women thing came from. It was his idea, and I was like, okay. And I got my license and everything with David Orr, the Cook County, and I met Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas. With that, being in the media, I was able to meet a lot of people. I met President Barack Obama, so many different people, Stedman Graham, Oprah's Bowl, so many, things that I was invited to, press conferences and things like that. I'm kind of losing my train of thought. But anyway, this is where I kind of got into, the media. And what was your question? Because I'm getting off.
You would always okay. Okay, yeah, no, that's part of the answer. You know what I'm saying? But as far as you represent, your media, you know what I'm saying, Chi-Town, how you got into it. But it was also about the documentary, the blues documentary.
Right, the documentary. Yeah, with the success of of all the people in the ad agencies that I had contact with, that I featured on my newspaper. I was like, that's really a lot of important people in Chicago, and they doing good. A lot of people are really, really doing good. And and so I said, okay, let's do the Chicago Success Story series. So every other week, I featured someone in Chicago who is an author, entrepreneur, music person, DJ, such as I'm going to feature you, who has been successful. If you didn't fall into the pit of the streets, the pitfalls of the streets, and you didn't stay down and you became, because people have different definitions of success. You don't have to have $1 million to be successful. If you went for a goal and you achieved it, you're successful. And I feel like if you're not down and out, you're not locked up in a prison nowhere. You have your mentality. You help other people. You are a success. So those are the people that I feature on the Chicago Success Series. And I said, well, let me do a documentary, because I love soul and I love blues. My father is a blues artist, was a blues artist who worked with Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Bo Diddley, Little Walter, all of those people. South side of Chicago. There you go. There's Chicago.
What's his name? Shout him out. Shout out your dad.
Otis Big Smokey Smothers, which is his stage name, Big Smokey. And then his brother is Little Smokey Smothers. They both were very influential in Chicago blues. Chicago blues is a certain type of blues. There are different types of blues, but most of the Chicago blues artists migrated from the Mississippi, and they migrated to Chicago, and they have that blues sound. It's a Chicago blues sound. So yeah, they work with a lot of people. Mick Jagger, my uncle Little Smokey, worked with him. Man, there's so many stories. And I'm like, and a lot of things my mother told me when I was little, about different blues artists like Little Walter and I mean, so many stories. And I was like, I was half listening. I was like, who are these people she's talking about? But when I got older and my dad passed, and at his funeral, I saw tons and tons of people coming through of different races. Now you
Really?
got to understand when you're a young girl on the south side of Chicago and you go to a just mainly a black school with black
Yeah.
kids, you don't see a lot of other nationalities other than the Greeks who run the restaurants or
Yeah.
grocery stores or whatever. You see those different people, but you don't have connection with other nationalities. When I saw all these white people and different people coming to my father's funeral, I was like, my father was really he was a big man. He was very influential. And so that's when I said, wait a minute, blues is important.
Hmm.
Soul music, soul music. We got the staple singers who were in Chicago, the Emotions, they're from Chicago.
Yep.
The Shy Lights, there's so many artists.
Legends.
Sam
Earth, Wind, and
Cooke,
Fire.
Curtis, yes,
Yes,
Curtis
legends.
Mayfield, and
Yes.
all these music, and some of the music I'm just not learning are from Chicago artists.
Hmm.
For God's sake, you got to give more power to the people. I just realized that was the Shy Lights.
Really?
I
Really?
didn't know. I kept hearing, I knew the
Crazy.
song, but then I saw on the music choice that I always look at,
Okay.
it said Shy Lights, the artist. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't know,
yeah.
so it's like amazing. So I said, let me bring this to people. And my biggest influence was there's a group on Facebook called You're Not From 47th Street If You Don't Know dot dot dot.
Hmm.
And you have to fill in the blanks. Everybody's uploading different pictures and videos of restaurants and Leon's barbecue and different music and stuff. And I said, you know what? And when you look at those posts, you actually feel good. And what I realized is that you're time traveling. When you look at a Facebook post and it's a music post or music, for instance, that you play on your shows, you actually are time traveling people and you're traveling them to a better place and it makes them feel good. And music is healing. So I
Yeah.
said, let me bring forth something positive. The Chicago Success Soul and Blues documentary, an entire full film documentary that's going to feature the people in Chicago and the music. So that's kind of where I
I'm
came
looking forward to it. Looking forward to that. Yeah, there's been so many documentaries about, blues or just, but not in this way. Not in this way,
from.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But you said it's not just going to be blues, or just going to be a mixture of blues and
It's just
Chicago
going to be
successful
a little blues, a little
blues.
soul
So
music, and and I'm not intentionally leaving other genres out. It's just that right at that point, this is
yeah.
what I want to focus on because, as you know, we plan on doing. I decided I want to do something on house music
All right now, girl. All
because that
right. I
was
get
the
that.
time that we came up in.
Yes.
That was some
Yes.
fun times. There's
Yes.
another thing good about Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago has been known for house music,
Yes.
and I'm happy to bring you aboard to help me with that
Thank
because
you. Thank you.
a lot of times I do things solo and it could be kind of overwhelming. For instance, I did a documentary last year on my dad called the Chicago Blues Brothers, Smothers Brothers of Blues,
Mm-hmm.
and I did it myself. I
All
had
by
a
yourself,
little
huh?
help. I had a
Yeah.
little help, but for
Little
the
help.
most part, it's kind of tough. So it's good to have people to come and collaborate with me because house music, man, is so much there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. With that, yeah. I mean, there's so many aspects to that. Well, not just house, but Chicago music industry. Period. One thing I've noticed about Chicago is that their music scene is that they're really heavy on scenes being built from the ground up. You know what I mean? Like
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of scenes here that were built from the streets that were built in the clubs. On
Hmm.
the streets, this like that, and then made it to mainstream as opposed to maybe somewhere like LA, or you know what I'm saying, or some parts of New York where you can become a pop artist overnight because you just you hooked up with the right people and walk into the offices, whatever, you know what I'm saying. But Chicago, from the blue, I know, for instance, blues, house, stepping, and even some of the newer hip hop is, probably too old to funk with that, what the kids listen to, the drill and things like that. But all that's is street level music first before it hit the mainstream. So that's what's cool about Chicago,
they're gonna put a blues museum in Chicago too. Really, it's gonna be nice.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be really nice. And then we got Buddy Guy. He's got Buddy Guy's Legend down on Wabash.
Right.
A lot of people come. They come in all the way from all different countries, and to kind of take you back, we were talking about Muddy Waters, which my father played with. My mother and father lived right next to Muddy Waters. They stayed next to each other, so they would go do jam sessions in the basement. It was nothing for like when I wasn't born then, but my sister was like, it was nothing to see Howlin' Wolf to come over.
Really?
In our kitchen, he's sitting there eating and whatever, and then they doing a jam session. My father played on a couple of his albums, but the blues got big actually in the UK because for some reason, with America, sometimes they don't really appreciate their artists until they go
exactly. That's sad but true. Sad but
true. Yeah, and it blew up in Muddy Ward. They say he used to stand on his porch. He was like, one day the blues is gonna leave the South Side of Chicago. And lo and behold, Mick Jagger and the Beatles came here, and it was like, people was screaming and hollering for them, and they said that the Beatles was like, y'all screaming and hollering for us, but these guys, they started it.
Yeah.
Hollywood, it's like these are the icons, and they worship them over in England and the UK. They worship Muddy Waters, Hollywood. It was like and Jimi Hendrix. That's another one.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix. They said he has one of my father's albums headed in his rotation.
What?
Yeah, he had this album. We was blown away. But then when I was reading a documentary, I saw a documentary about Jimi Hendrix, and they said that his father gave him a stack of albums because he was cleaning out a lady's house, and that's when he fell in love with Muddy Waters. So you see how it all works together. But it's coming back to Chicago.
Yeah, we all connected. Yep.
Connected.
Don't forget, the Rolling Stones named themselves after Muddy Waters' song "Rolling Stone."
Right.
It was amazing. It's amazing you're talking about Muddy Waters because I have a show I have a mix show on a station called Chicago Sizzle Radio. I was listening to it this morning. You always got to check the stations you're on to be sure those stuff come on time and all that. Each show air on time. And after my mix went off, they played Muddy Waters, I'm a Man, Rolling Stone. I thought about you. I'm like, really? You know what I'm saying? Muddy, right? You know what I'm saying? So imagine a station right after house mix goes off, they playing the Muddy Waters joint. They did that this morning, so that was cool. Just to throw that out there, you know what I'm saying, to show how the synchronicity of the universe works. You know what I'm saying?
See how things are working.
Yeah.
And what that song "I'm a Man," a lot of times the blues artists, they couldn't come out and say, oh, this person is making me feel bad because they're racist or whatever. So, and then with the 60s coming up, with the civil rights and stuff, a lot of artists wanted to kind of get in with that. So he was talking about "I'm a Man." Remember back in the day that they wouldn't
call you boy or something?
Yeah, they, the guys, what's it called, the garbage collectors. That was how the movement started because they wasn't like getting the money that they were supposed to get. And so that's when you see those signs where the guys has "I'm a Man." That's where Muddy Waters developed that song from.
Oh, really?
It sounds good and stuff, but he's saying, "I'm a man." Hello.
Okay.
Look at me.
That's what it was about.
Stuff, but I'm a man.
Yeah.
So, that's how the artists did back in the day.
Oh, now I see that song in a whole different light now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's deep. Deep. Okay.
It sounds good, but it's a message behind it. And that's why those artists are so important because, they bring to life and they make you feel good with the music. But they also they bring a message, So that's why I love music. Music is healing. That's why, what you're doing is really important too, because I tell you, without music, what would we do, especially during the pandemic? We would all lost our minds.
Yes, 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 yes. Music is a drug. It could be a good drug or a bad drug, but it's like a drug, you know what I'm saying? Some drugs kill you, some drugs heal you, you know what I mean? So yeah, music was there for me. It was there for me. You know what I'm saying? And also the internet, because my podcast views stepped up, you know what I'm saying? More people in the crib,
Right.
And a lot of your
Yeah.
movie stars and actors now have podcasts too, you know what I'm saying? Because of
You
the
notice
pandemic, you
that?
know what I'm saying? Which is cool too. So we all on that playing field right now, you know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Right. We got a lot of famous people got podcasts now.
Yeah.
Everybody getting on the radio and but whatever works,
Oh
whatever
yes,
you
yes.
do that is helpful to people and you helping yourself, because somebody can have a YouTube channel and make $20,000 a month. Some of them. Some of them
Yes.
making really good money, but so for the young people, I would say, try to get a YouTube channel, do something positive, start a podcast or something. You never know, it can help somebody.
Yep. Yep. It's
Yeah.
funny. You made me think of my daughter. She's 7. She wants a YouTube channel. I'm like, not yet. Maybe when you
Well,
were
yeah.
third grade. Not yet. Maybe when you were third grade. You know what I'm saying?
Not tell her not yet, because you're
Right,
gonna
right.
have to monitor
Right.
where she's looking at.
That's a
Yeah.
24-hour job, especially with a kid too, especially with a
Yes.
child. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So also, so you would in your, I was checking out your bio too. You know what I'm saying? I was noticing you had a TV show, like a CAN TV show as well.
Oh yeah, I was the
Yeah.
Chicago Access Network television producer. I got my certification in 2000, and just before I got with the newspaper. And I produced. It was a monthly show called Real People on the Reel, REEL. Real
Mm-hmm.
People on the
I
REEL,
got you. I got you.
not the real. I was the real before the real was the real.
Yeah, real. You was real. REEL,
But
the real.
I would actually, as a matter of fact, I guess I keep featuring people, but I know how important people are, because like my mentor, he was so influential in my life. And then I started meeting so many important, everybody's important, but, people like President Obama, Dorothy Tillman, Alderman Tillman, just meeting a lot of big people and artists. I met Music Soul Child, Malik Yoba, a lot of people I
That's
met
what's
with the
up.
newspaper. So I started putting them in the on the like a 30-minute program,
Mm-hmm.
where I would sit down. In fact, I interviewed Ed Crosby, who's the house music DJ
Then we get
back
that
in the
across
day.
BMX.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
He's still a good friend of mine. In fact, we
That's
just
what's
talked the
up.
other day.
Oh
Because I
yeah.
told him, I said, Ed, I said, well, I'm finna do a house music documentary, Ed. I want you in it.
Is he
He said,
still
yes,
getting
Sister
down? Is he still
Crystal.
getting down too?
Yeah, he want me to come to Chicago. I'm like, okay, I'm way out here. I'm still, but I'm gonna come, because he want me to come to a meeting, because they're gonna do something with house music. They have a house music museum that they're trying to develop.
Mm-hmm.
And Ed Farley, he's got something he's doing too. So I told him, I said, we're gonna do a house music documentary, and I want you to be a part of it. So yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool. About those, there have been plenty. Well, I'm a documentary freak, I don't know why, but I just like documentaries because they're educational and entertainment all at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But there are many different house music documentaries I've seen, and I love seeing them because I grew up, I grew up with funk and house. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Funk in elementary school. Then when funk evolved to like electro funk, and then house came out. You know what I'm saying? But I witnessed a lot of things happening in house as a movement before it was even called house. I don't think it became called
Really?
house until they started putting it on wax. But I'm saying all that to say this. There are many stories told, and all of the stories are correct, from my opinion. I've seen people like in threads arguing back and forth about, well, I was here, but you wasn't there, but you was you was there, but
Uh-huh.
you wasn't here, or you didn't party here, or I DJ'd in 19 such and such. But you know what? The beautiful thing about anything
Mm-hmm.
is there are many different stories to tell. You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
You
Yeah.
know, I've actually I had a show once on intellectual radio. Shout out to the other Winfrey, Earl Winfrey at intellectualradio.com. I had a show there once called TP Live, and I interviewed a few people from the scene, you know, from the house scene, and
Uh-huh.
it was cool because the people I've interviewed, some were producers, some
Okay.
were just DJs, some were singers, some were musicians, and it was so cool
Okay.
because just in doing that, everybody had their own story to tell, you know, and it's like it's the same pie, but there's different angles of the pie, different pieces of the pie that you grab from. You know what I'm saying? So it's beautiful, you know. So that's why I think if we do one, it's going to be cool too from another angle and perspective, and it'll be just be another piece of that big old hole. You know what I'm saying? That's going to fill in the hole. You know what I'm saying? So
That's what we need too. We need the different stories. See, you in touch with the people,
Mhm.
who were back, doing the house music.
And
I know
some
you had
currently too.
Biblical Jones on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
People
was like,
talk to me to do the
okay.
big. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Mhm.
because with House then we had the Gospel House, which is what Ed got and start getting into because when a lot of people stopped drinking or whatever or partying, then they would just listen to the Gospel House. So all of it is so important, and like you said, the different stories. Everybody's got their own perception, so that's their story.
Yeah,
That's
and
how
all the
they
stories
saw
are
it.
true. All the stories are correct. There's no, it didn't happen this way. It didn't
Right.
happen
There's no
that way.
wrong
No,
story.
no two people are going to have the same story. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Because,
so
like
that's
you
fact.
said, there was a thread where somebody started a house music thread and there were people arguing about it. And
Yeah, you know,
we don't
that's for
want
kids.
that,
That's for kids, right? You know what I'm saying? In
Right.
other words, say for instance, if somebody asked me how to get to say the Sears Tower, right? If they ask me, they ask you, they ask somebody that lives in Atlanta, they ask somebody that lives in LA. Everybody is not going to have the same direction, the same
Mm,
way to get to
there
that
you
same
go.
destination. You know what I'm saying?
There you
Because they
go.
have different perspective. Where you are is your perspective. Where you're located at, your demographic, your age group, all that is your different perspective. But we all going to the same place, which is that groove. You dig what I'm saying? So that groove is what we're gonna ride on. We're gonna
I
focus
like
on.
that. Oh, so you should be writing this down. You be saying something. I'm like, oh, if I had a pen, I just write
Yeah,
it down. I
yeah.
hope you remember it for the documentary.
When we write, us okay, we watch this video, we're gonna take notes on the video. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Notes off this video. That's
Right. I'm excited because that's a lot of fun things happened back in the house music days,
mm-hmm.
and I'm writing actually my life story. That's going to be the last thing I write.
Uh-oh.
I'm just like,
Uh-oh.
I'm kind of ready to retire, just like, when I say retire, just kind of go on vacation, an
Yeah.
extended vacation.
Okay, do
But
that.
yeah, but with my story, it's going to be the house music and so because I wrote an actual movie about my dad, and I haven't went and pursued a production company to do it yet, but I'm sure that'll happen down the line with my who knows, we can
Yeah,
do a
keep
house
grinding.
music
You know,
movie.
when you keep grinding, the universe presents opportunities to make your desires come true. So what's going to happen? It's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's going to
It's
happen.
kind of like with the fundraiser, because I'm doing a fundraiser document for the documentary, and just to let you know how things work in sync, today we reached 100% funding for
Right.
the,
Congrats. That's what
the
I'm talking
flexible
about. Okay,
for
that's
the
cool.
flexible goal. I have a bigger goal,
But
but the flexible goal, I made it kind of, reasonable. So we met it today, which is ironic that I'm doing the interview with
good.
you
That's what I'm
today.
talking about, girl. That's what I'm talking about.
I was like, and then I be on Facebook begging. I call myself begging. But one thing about me, like when I had the newspaper, I never wanted to close deals or whatever. I didn't feel I decided to feel totally comfortable. So I'm not totally comfortable like asking for money. But when you run a business or have a project, you have to ask people for the help that you need, and
Yeah.
that's what I would do each week. I developed the fundraiser campaign, and then I asked people on Facebook, and most of my sales came from Facebook, friends and
Really?
family, associates, and so anybody that's out there want to produce a project, don't be afraid to ask people. Sure, now you're gonna have people, like even people in your family, that won't support you. For instance, like we have posts on Facebook, and some people won't hit that like button for nothing.
Yeah, it's okay. Hey, it's
For
okay.
the life of them, they won't hit it.
I know y'all watching, though. We know y'all watching. You know what I'm
They're
saying?
watching. That's right. So so yeah, 100%. So
Well, I'm
I
happy to hear
want to
that.
teach the young people too. I want to bring a couple of young girls under my wing, and young men. So, who knows where this is going to take us. Well, we could do maybe a webinar. We
Yeah,
could,
okay.
kind of let them know, if you want to do this, you can do that. You could produce a project. You could produce a product. You could
Cool.
create a product. Because that's what it's coming to. A lot of jobs are gone with the AI, with the machines and stuff, and
Yep.
technology.
There's a lot of
are
jobs that won't be here in about 3-5 years that we think we're going to retire off of. They're not going to be here in 3 to 5 years. A lot of jobs. So everybody got to be their own boss, their own whatever. You know what I'm saying? You got to be just everything now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got to be an entrepreneur now. You know what I mean?
That's right.
But one thing I like about you, before I close out, one thing I like about I've gotten from you during this interview is that you would never mention that I'm doing what I'm doing because I want to be this multi-billionaire and a big star, which could still come, you know what I mean? But you about giving, exposing, and giving a platform to others through, your Ari'ze Women Network and through the magazines you've been involved in, you know what I'm saying? You still may be involved in, your YouTube channels and so forth. I've noticed everything you said was about giving and helping, and that's a great blessing. That's why you're going to be blessed. You know what I'm saying? You never once said, yeah, I'm going to do this about next year. I'm going to have me a Benz, and about the 6 months after that, if I keep on going, I'm going to have a mansion. You never mentioned none of that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, not that I don't want it,
it's
it
there
would be
for
nice.
you. It's there for you to get. It's for you.
Right. But it's not my ultimate, because one thing about it, like when you have health, I've had health scares, and stuff that's happened in my life. And one thing about it is health is wealth. You can have $1 million, but if your health is down the drain, you can't even enjoy it. You can have $1 million but you're looking over your shoulders all the time, or packing all the time. And that could be, so it's like, having money it would be cool having that, surplus and the house and the Mercedes Benz and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, we deserve it. Well, don't get me wrong, we deserve it, but you are about giving, which is why you will be blessed with other things and
helping people. Yeah, I have a friend mine she has Brown Girl Expressions, which is a book club, not a book club, but she does books. She's an author, and I'm always sharing her posts, and she shares mine. And I try to share yours too, and we have to do that because, it gives you joy. And like my mentor used to always say, he always had something funny to say. He's like, okay, ball your fists up. He said, now can anything get in there? I was like, no. He said, now open your hands. And that's how you have to do. You have to give. You have to share, what you have. And I'm hoping to help people. In the meantime, if I can bless somebody financially once I'm up there and make it, then I can do it, you know. But if it doesn't happen, that's fine. I know that I'm living in my purpose.
And just like you said, you already are a success because you live in your purpose of doing what you're supposed to be doing. When I hear that, I'm going to say this, it's crazy, but I'm going to say this crazy thing, and then, we're going to close out in a bit. Whenever I have a conversation about, health is great over wealth, but we all should have both. I think about this scene from The Godfather, which is one of my favorite movies, hence the name Corleone added to TP. I use Corleone as a title, not as anything else, what I'm saying. But anyway, this character from the movie, Hyman and Roth, he was talking to this other cat. He said, he was an old man, an old gangster. He said, I'll give $1 million I'll give $1 million to be able to piss without it hurting. You know what I'm saying? But so he was in bad health. He was a big time gangster running casinos and this and that, but he still couldn't pee without it hurting. You know, that kind of stuck with me a little bit. It's like money is a beautiful thing, you know what I'm saying? But health is even more important and powerful than money, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, health is wealth. And that's part of the Rise Women Network is that, I have in the video catalog of playlists is one is health and wellness because mental illness and, it's a lot of people that out here that have mental illness, people that you see like homeless on the street, mental illness, domestic violence, mental illness. That's really important that we address those issues because that's the base of what's wrong with a lot of people, why they're not successful, is that mental illness or depression, not taking medication or not speaking with having a therapist. In the Black community, it's a rumor around that Black men don't seek, like therapy because it's like taboo. It's like identity their masculinity, but that's not true. If you seek therapy, that means that you're addressing issues that you need to talk about. A lot of stuff happened to us in the urban community. Even as kids, a lot of bad stuff could have happened. And we have to address those things, and then you can get to the success level or the level where you're happy with having $100 as happy as you are with having $20,000, so yeah, health is wealth. So
yeah, that's heavy. That's heavy. Okay, Miss Queen, I know I could talk to you all day, but I'm not going to do that. Because if I talk to you all day, YouTube ain't going to let me upload the video, a 30-hour video, you know what I'm saying? So, but thanks for blessing the show. And I will be on your show soon. We're going to let that know.
TP, you're going to be on next Sunday.
Yes, next Sunday.
On the Rise Women Network on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. Just go Ari'ze Women Network. We have a website, www.arisewomennetwork.com. And any of your viewers want to give to Indiegogo fundraiser for Chicago Success Soul and Blues, it'll be in your comment section. And be sure to like and subscribe.
Yes, like and subscribe, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Be blessed. Like and subscribe. I'll funk with you next time. Check me out Sunday coming up live on the Ari'ze Women Network. All right. Peace and love, QNef. Have a great week.
Peace and love. Thank you, TP. Be blessed.
No problem at all. No problem.